broad celestial shores. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away.
I didn't know about Midwest Care Center until Peter, my partner, went into Northwestern and he was diagnosed with end-stage liver cancer. Peter, very soon after he was diagnosed, made a decision that he didn't want extraordinary measures because it was clear they weren't going to cure him. And so there we were, and I didn't know how to take care of someone who was becoming sick. And what happened was hospice came in and they provided us with information and a social worker and a nurse. We did so many things through hospice or because of hospice. Peter had 3 wishes before he died, and one of them was to visit his son out in Seattle, and we made that trip. He wanted to meet my family out on the East Coast, so we took a trip to Cape Cod, and the last thing that he wanted to do was get married. And so we actually got married in the hospice inpatient. We just did so many amazing things through hospice that we were able to do because the hospice people were so good at taking care of Peter.
I'm such an advocate of hospice care. Hospice is end-of-life care, but it is end-of-life care one day at a time. And it is having quality of care and life every step of the way. And I lost a spouse at 46 years old, which was way too early. However, I feel that I had a gift because I was at his bedside, holding his hand, watching him pain-free, with dignity, and having my children and his family surrounding him with love and being able to say goodbye in a setting of peace.
My wife became ill with brain cancer in 2009, and we entered into hospice that fall. She actually lasted far longer than any of the doctors expected, and we were involved with hospice from essentially Thanksgiving of 2009 until she passed away in September of 2010. We were fortunate that we were able to keep my wife at home. We set up essentially a hospital room in our family room. Midwest Care provided all of the essential hardware, if you will, of beds and oxygen, wheelchairs, and all of those things. So it was a very ongoing and intimate relationship that we had with Midwest Care and the care for my wife.
I cared for both of my parents at end of life, and we used hospice, Mother and I, when we cared for my dad, and then my mother died shortly after my father, and so again I was able to care for her myself because of hospice. I loved being home with my parents. It was both of their wishes that they die at home, and we were able to do that with hospice care.
We entered hospice care with you folks, as a matter of fact, and you were the one that was so highly recommended by everybody. I did ask around, and every time I mentioned Midwest, their eyes sort of lit up and they said, that's the one to use. At the start, I had a long discussion with them, and I said, I want you to know where I stand on this. And I said, I would like Sheila to be as comfortable as possible, but I definitely don't want to prolong her life beyond what God intended her to have. And they said, well, that's what hospice care is. We like to make the patient comfortable. We like to do extra little things, but we're not going to prolong anything beyond what is meant to be. And that pleased me. The thing I like most is the hospice care nurse and or doctor would come to see her almost every day, if not every other day. And if there was a little flare-up, if there was a little something that didn't seem to be going well, they were there like that. I had the emergency number to call. If I didn't understand anything, they welcomed my phone calls. They did all the things that you would hope somebody would do.
The experience at the inpatient unit of the care center was spectacular. They immediately put my father in a bed in a private room. you could see him immediately relax. His whole demeanor had changed from when he was in the hospital with people poking him and x-raying him and MRI tests and everything else, to now being in a facility where they were focused on making him comfortable.
There's just no regrets, and you know that you've done the best that you can with the help from Midwest, and to have a inpatient facility would be wonderful for families that find it too difficult to care for loved ones in the house.
The Marshak Family Hospice Pavilion is just near and dear to my heart, and I really believe that this unit is going to impact so many individuals in such a positive way. This particular unit has every feature imaginable. There's full services for food for families, there are showers available, there are places for children to roam around, and even ability to bring your pet into the pavilion. And yet it still has all of the professional staff and everything available to take care of the needs of a patient. And it is just like a home setting for those that can't be in their home and that really want to be there.
Sometimes symptoms prevent people from being safely and effectively supported in a home setting, and in those situations, an inpatient pavilion such as this is a place where people can receive excellent, world-class care, and in this setting, particularly intensive caring around advanced illness and symptoms.
We felt very relieved when Midwest Care Center took over my parents' care when they were getting into their mid-90s and their health was deteriorating. When they died about 5 years ago, we decided to do something in their honor, and we luckily found out about the proposed garden here at the new inpatient unit, and we decided that this would be appropriate because my parents love the Chicago Botanic Garden and were big supporters there. And we thought this garden would be just perfect. It would help celebrate their lives, and I think they would be thrilled beyond words to see this beautiful garden today and how it's going to bring families together into this space of comfort and healing.
Our mission is to provide world-class palliative and end-of-life care. We now have a world-class hospice pavilion for patients who cannot be cared for at home that matches the high quality of care we have been delivering for over 35 years. For our most vulnerable patients, it is a place like no other. None of this would have been possible without generous community support. Thank you for gifting this world-class resource to our community and for supporting our mission into the future.
525